Hi, James. It's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
Really good. Thanks, really.
Beautiful, beautiful. And just like I mentioned earlier, thank you so very much for being here. And now I'm about to recite my anthem. And I use the word anthem because I say those words often to all of my guests. So, firstly, James, I want to thank you for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now because you invested in yourself. And oftentimes, James, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You see, some months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, there was this tall, unattractive mango tree. And I use the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry, and I just walked past it. But you see, James, just recently, I was on that same road, and this time around, a lot's changed about the tree. You see, it caught my attention pretty good from a distance, and immediately I got the urge to move closer and have a good look. When I got closer to the tree, James, it wowed me because this time around the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, healthy green leaves, and beautiful green leaves, healthy branches, and not just mangoes, but ripe mangoes. So it was a beautiful moment that day. I was really, really excited. Now, my point is, the fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing person that you are today, that alone has made it difficult or impossible for me to skip you. And that's why you see you got the request from me to be on the show because I was attracted to the fruit of your knowledge, the amazing work that you're doing. It's amazing. It's awesome. And I just couldn't take my eyes off it. And that's why you got the request from me. So thank you so very much, James, for investing in yourself. And secondly, thank you for saying yes to the invite. Because if you had said nope, there was nothing I could do about it. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure.
Yeah, beautiful. So let's get started. Okay, James, you see, I am quite excited to have you on the show today for some reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to a beautiful one, James, I believe it takes the application of knowledge. And not just knowledge, but the application of it. And you see, James, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking. Why? Because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the audience. The second reason why I'm excited to have the amazing James on the show is for the sake of the listeners. You see, James, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of information flying out there. So these folks trust me for life-changing, eye-opening, and quality information. And I'm totally convinced, James, that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or professional journey. We are so curious right now. We want to know how James got here. Then afterwards, I've gotten some really beautiful questions for you. Okay, James, over to you.
Beautiful. So as you mentioned, my personal journey, it did start with some relative heartache. I lost my mum in 2006 due to breast cancer. So
So
that was a
sad.
very big catalyst for my journey, especially in personal and my faith development. I'm a born again Christian as of the last 18 months, so a devout Christian follower. I was born Catholic, so as a lot of you listening, you question, why does the Lord, do these things? And when you're a 14-year-old boy and you lose your mum, it becomes this turbulent time, and you're like, I can't answer why. So I think for myself, what really sent me on that journey was, the loss of my mum. And what really got me into the business development was at first learning to understand oneself in order to understand others. So one of the first things I did was studied human psychology, neuro-linguistic programming, Tony Robbins, Madonnas, anything that I could do to discover myself from a more soul-based level versus a spiritual level in the beginning, as a lot of us listening will go through. We think that it's within ourselves, and then we realize that, the Lord is the one who's given us the blueprint for our life. And as the mango tree, as you mentioned, as the beautiful mango tree, the mango tree doesn't wake up one day and question, how am I going to grow mangoes? The blueprint's already within it. I went through that, personal discovery, spiritual discovery from psychology and studying, human and personal development. I got into marketing and actually developed a program alongside my business partner, Scott Liddell, here in Australia. And we actually built a program and a course called the Digital Marketing School, which we actually built Australia's largest digital marketing school with over 12,000 students. From that, I then transitioned into other forms of marketing and realized that, what I thought was at first a skill that was, had to be harnessed, which was sales, was actually my gift. And the more I've, really become closer to my father, I realized that, the Lord placed a skill set within me, which was communication, because through communicating with oneself, it taught me to communicate with others. And now we actually sell some of the most transformational programs and packages and work with some of the most amazing businesses, including the likes of Brian Tracy, Dr. Joe Vitale, Philip Kotler. We've got some work with Robert Kiyosaki, Sir Richard Branson, just to name a few. So, we work with some major players in the personal development and business space. And for me, it's been a journey of discovery, but also too just following the path and the plan in which the Lord set for me. And obviously, it's brought me here today to be with yourself. And I'm excited to be here. And if the listeners listening, if I could say one thing before we get into this is seek wisdom first. Seek wisdom first, and there's nobody more wise than our Father, Lord God. So appreciate being here. It's great to be here.
Amazing. You see, I find people like you very, very powerful and interesting to talk with. Because when I come across folks who are maybe in a particular business and you see they don't regard God or even infuse God in what they're doing, but they believe in their own way of doing things and their own strategies. And, I really do not find them interesting to listen to. But when I come across folks who acknowledges God in all that they're doing and they understand, okay, I am in where I am now, not by my power, but by his enablement. Oh boy, those are powerful folks. And I'm speaking of one right now. Thank you for all that you're doing, James. And so sorry about the loss. And yeah, you are, doing great stuff, which is amazing. So you mentioned marketing earlier. And I feel like that's a very, very important part of any business. If any business is going to be experiencing progress, the business is going to have a solid marketing strategy. The marketing aspect is going to be very effective. And that's where the problem lies for many businesses. So I want you to talk to us about the psychology of marketing. Can you talk to us about it?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I agree wholeheartedly. I think sometimes it's foolish of us to give our own credit to oneself. We're a finite being, whereas we are connected to the infinite. God is an infinite being and we are a finite being. So it's foolish of us to think that all the information and knowledge which comes from a future vision is being given to us by ourselves. And when you really start to understand that, it really starts to, transform your life. So the same goes with marketing. I think for a lot of people, the connection of marketing, they start to really live in their own individual avatar versus they start to look at the niche per se, which, the best way to marketing, and for anyone listening, just write this down. You may not have heard these terminologies before because it is quite a lot higher level marketing, very, intricate when we talk about this. It's a difference between a demographic and a psychographic. So a lot of people are very fixated and focused on a demographic versus a psychographic. So the difference between a demographic and a psychographic is that a demographic is generally characterized by the characteristics of the individual in which you believe your product is for, whereas a psychographic is speaking towards the psychology of what the product solves. So by looking at your marketing, for example, so a demographic would be, I'll use a restaurant as an example. So a demographic would be that this particular restaurant only serves vegan food. That's a demographic, which is terrific, but then it polarizes the market. But then if you were to market from a psychographic perspective, you could start to look at, the the ways in which the food benefits the community. So the psychographic marketing campaign would be healthy, sustainable, wholesale, vegetarian or vegan food. So sustainability is a psychographic because people are more focused on sustainability. Naturally sourced, locally sourced, that's a psychographic versus the demographic is the vegan component. So when we're marketing, must first look at the psychographic of like, what's the psychology of the people that be interested in my product before we niche down to the demographic. Because what I find for a lot of businesses is that they go too in detail with the demographic. And when we actually say to them, hey, did you ever think that this product could help this person, this person, this person, this person, this person? No, I only just help this one person, or it's only for this one person. I'm like, but this market has this. So one of the psychographic businesses that we really focus on is we have our own finance company. So I have Amala, which is my main business. So Amala, AMALA, which is named after my mum, Amanda Lani. And Amala actually has a conglomerate group. So we've got marketing, sales, finance, insurance, all the fun things that you need in business. But the psychographic component's the insurance because the psychographic component's the finance because everybody needs some form of finance. So that allows us to then go from a psychographic to a demographic. So hopefully that makes sense for anyone listening. And, be sure to follow me if you need any more tips or advice. I think we'll have the links at the bottom of this. But it's definitely psychographic versus demographic marketing, number one key principle when it comes to starting your marketing campaign.
I got that. And thank you for explaining it that way. You see, I would have to listen to our conversation over and over again. Okay, so can you talk to us about the importance of building a business ecosystem? You got it?
Awesome. So yeah, for sure. It's such an important piece because if we're very niche down to a demographic, what we do is we limit our ability for scalability and profitability, which in business, in the beginning, those should be your two main focuses. Now, I am a man of God and I am a faith-driven man. So I do, throughout the entirety of my business, it's been that challenge and that turbulence for me to go, hey, I'm really focused on, profitability and scalability versus focused on purpose and mission. Now, it takes a level of maturity to understand that when you don't have profit or you don't have scale, you actually are impacting less. So I'd like for you to think about this from a perspective of if I'm not developing an ecosystem which grows outside of myself and means I can continually facilitate more growth, more leverage, more ability to, make more sales and in turn make more money, how am I really going to impact that thing, that purpose, that mission, that vision in which I've seen if I can't grow my business to millions of dollars, if not more? And that's where I think a lot of people make the mistake is they focus on the vision versus how can this ecosystem flourish like a mango tree, like a garden. If you don't water it and you don't allow it to grow, think of the mango tree. It's a great grand tree. My grandparents used to have mango trees on our farm. And it's this great grand tree, but if you place the mango tree inside of a box, it will only ever grow to the size in which the box allows it. So an ecosystem allows it to flourish outside of that and grow a lot greater, but also too, as it says in the Bible, collaboration, working with others, casting a vision. As Jesus cast a vision for men. He took men from being fisher of men to being fisher of men. So he took fishermen to fisher of men. As it says in the Bible, if you look at that reference, it's like, how can you cast a vision? And an ecosystem really allows you to do that. So I definitely encourage you to think, who can I collaborate with, partner with, start to build out this business so it's not just you as the singular leader or focus.
Amazing. I got that. That was very, very insightful. Okay, let's talk about Facebook ads. You see, oh boy, this particular sector, a lot of folks have series of issues running Facebook ads. So what's your main advice for someone looking to scale through Facebook ads, for someone looking to get the best out of Facebook ads? What's your advice for them?
The biggest thing is don't treat it as a burden, treat it as a privilege. It's like you're about to connect with another human being. So write with the intention of your copy, your marketing to move their soul, to move their heart, connect to their spirit. Obviously, we're spirit beings living a physical experience here on earth. So really start to connect to their spirit. if you write to somebody, don't just write with the intention to sell them. Like really place your heart inside of your copy so that your copy can start to attract the people that you want. I think that a lot of people get onto Facebook and they see it as a marketplace, and all of a sudden they go into commercial mode and they really start to sit there and be like, I just need to be transactional here as opposed to transformational. The other thing with Facebook is to really understand that, you know, it is a platform in which, obviously is a business. So play the game. Don't go into Facebook and expect, that whole Instagram versus reality. I spend $1, I make $1,000,000. It's like, no, at the end of the day, Facebook is designed for you to spend more on the platform. So it doesn't want you to lose, but it does want you to spend. So if you have a limited budget in the beginning, be sure to, get some more money together before you go and do ads. There's other ways to make money. So organic, JV, so joint venturing, getting people to affiliate to you, again, cross collaboration and partnership, and then take your resources and reinvest. We start on a campaign $200 a day, and then we scale them to $5,000 to $10,000 a day. But if you don't start with some form of budget, or you're afraid to spend, you'll just end up putting money into a platform and you won't make any return. So hopefully that answers the questions for the listeners.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Okay, so one more question, then we're done. All right. So, what's your main advice for someone looking to grow their business?
I think the main thing is to look at the business. It doesn't make sense to the marketplace. Not does it make sense to you. Ask people, does it make sense to them? And you'll start to realize, I look at a couple of things, or quite a few things actually. But in the beginning, I look at a few things in relation to business. It's like, what's the marketplace looking for at the moment? So market penetration, will I be able to penetrate a marketplace? What is the want in the marketplace? So market share. So how much of the market actually wants this? What is the market cap? So what's the market capitalization? And these principles are very actually similar to the, trading. I think a lot of people hear those like terms in crypto, but if you go back to tradition of trading, so business, that's how analysts start to see whether or not it's a good investment to invest in. So treat your business the same way. You're going to have customers, clientele that want to invest in your business. So ask the question, does this actually make sense to the marketplace? Is there a need or a want in the marketplace? What's the current marketplace in relation to this? Now, one thing I will say, and I heard this on a sermon by Dr. Miles Monroe, who's an American pastor, is one of my favorite in the States. Unfortunately passed away, God rest in peace. And he mentioned this on a sermon, and it was like, that everything in the universe, or everything by God, has already been created, and we have everything necessary in order to create. There's nothing new. The minerals, our vitamins, all those things, God's already created the atoms. And it's like, when you look at your business, how can you couple two things together to make it better? How can you bring something and innovate on that? So by innovating versus pioneering, thinking you're going to find a new thing, remember, God's already created everything in existence. The same thing that the Wright brothers used for the plane were available, in the Stone Ages when they didn't even have guns. So guys, remember that innovation is the key to growth. Innovate on your business will allow you to innovate faster and innovate and grow larger. So that's definitely my recommendation.
Amazing. Innovation is the key to growth. I got that. Beautiful. I've got a clap for you, man. That's a great word. Okay. For folks who like to reach out to you, James, and ask you questions, or they would love to learn more about everything we've discussed, how can that be possible?
The easiest way, I'm pretty similar being. I'm a pretty simple being. So what I do is I just say, reach out on Instagram. We've got a great team that supports. I'm there on Instagram as well. My Instagram handle is @JamesWellingtonOfficial. So just my first name and last name, and then the official, @JamesWellingtonOfficial, all one word. Whether it'll be one of my team in the DMs, or it'll probably be myself. I'm very active, and I like to connect with anyone that reaches out. I've got time to connect with anybody that, is going for big things and wanting to change and transform their life. So it's sure to reach out, follow me, send me a message, and I'd love to connect. So appreciate you so much for having me on today, and I hope everyone listening got some value from today.
Yeah, amazing. So that's going to be the end of the show. Thank you for coming, James, and thank you for blessing us with these powerful words, man. I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
So thank you.